Greetings, one and all. How's everybody doing? This recorded time date is 12:57 a.m. and I am about to do like a channel update, kinda. I might start doing this now. It's kinda like I'm gonna do like updates to my channel, talk about what's going on in the music world, talk about some shit that's going on my channel, what I think about certain shit, yeah. Just certain crap like that, yeah, just explain some updates coming up and shit. So, just ways I can just keep this channel interesting. Cause I know I've been kind of lacking on some videos these past couple of weeks, and I know I've just been busy with a lot of shit lately. So, I'm trying to get back in the groove of things, and yeah, I'm trying to be comfortable because this hurricane that's coming though. But yeah, let me just talk about a few things though. Alright, so my first thing I want to talk about is this whole Kamikaze Eminem album. Now, this is not a review, this is just my mini review. I've heard the album. Oof. It was mediocre. But I like it better than Revival, and it's kind of crazy too because I'm not like the biggest Eminem fan post the Eminem show, but Revival was just so horrible, man. Like, it made it Encore look like a hip-hop classic. But back to this Kamikaze, like this album has been kind of controversial, because it kind of came out of nowhere. I think it was released about almost 2 weeks ago and shit like that. And it kind of caused a lot of controversy because he was like going after everybody. He was dissing like hella cats like Joe Budden, Lord Jamar, like mumble rappers. And the reason why I kind of like this or prefer this better than Revival is because I can see where some people kind of say he was kind of going back to his roots. I saw that with some songs, but the thing that ruins it sounds forced when it comes to Eminem. Like, the only really good song I like, I'll have to say is the first song, The Ringer. And surprisingly, I might get some flack, but I did like Not Alike with the joint he did with Voice of 5'9", but it was an acquired taste. I didn't really like the beat though, and that's another thing too. He's trying to go for this whole trap production bullshit, but I'm not really gonna spend too much time on this album. Like, and yes, I did see what was it? I did see the Joe Budden podcast episode. Yeah, he did have some valid points though and shit, but I don't know, man. It was kind of hilarious. Like, a lot of people are kind of dissing Joe because they said like, oh, he should be going after Eminem lyrically. Oh, well, the nigga said he was tired, so what more do you want? Or he retired. Because, rappers, they say they retire 1 minute and then they be like, oh, I'm back with another project. But, yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is this Bobby Brown story. Now, when it comes to biopics, I am very, very, very picky when it comes to biopics. And so I saw the New Edition biopic, and I loved it. I loved the New Edition biopic. I felt like it was very consistent with storytelling. It was just very dope storytelling, acting, the direction. And so everyone kept saying, oh, they're going to do a Bobby Brown. They're going to do a Bobby Brown. I was like, they're going to do a Bobby Brown one. At first, I had mixed feelings about it. I have to admit that because there was an artist I kind of felt like should deserve biopics more than Bobby Brown and shit like that. And Don't get me wrong, I like New Edition. You know, I like Bobby, I like Bill DeVoe, Johnny Gill, Ralph, all that. But I was like, there was so many artists that deserve more biopics. So BT was promoting, and I was like, you know what, I might just give this a chance. That biopic was the R&B equivalent of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I'm just saying though, that 2-part miniseries was crazy and shit. Like, I'm not gonna talk about like the whole. I'm gonna talk about specific moments and shit like that. Now, the moment that everybody was talking about was the Janet Jackson, Bobby Brown fling. I'll call it a fling. Because if you guys read his autobiography, he mentioned that him and Janet had like a brief romantic relationship and bullshit. But I knew about it like way before the biography. He mentioned it in an interview or some shit, but there was the scene when they were at the bed and shit like that, and basically Bobby was just saying that he likes her and all that, and what are we doing, basically, and she just got feeling like, oh, you don't like me because I'm black, and shit like that, like he's dark skinned. And, you know, it was a very interesting scene because Janet Jackson has, of course, came out and she said that nothing ever happened or some sorts like that. Although there were some people saying otherwise, but, other than that, another scene,
I've been exploring.
My fault. Some other scenes that I like the scene where he was doing, he was recording, you know, the song, Rock With You. And I always this is always what I love about music biopics. When they get to see the artist recording the songs and see the studio, what they do in the studio. I always like that in biopics and shit like that. What else? I like the scene where I know I might be the only, but I like the scene where he showed his parents, you know, his new house and shit like that, you know. Because, you know, he was talking about, like, having his own record label, and you could really see he really wanted to make positive things in the music industry. He wanted to get back to his family and shit like that. But speaking of his parents, I want to talk about his mama, though. Like, was I the only one that was sick of her character throughout the movie, Bobby's mama? Because of the fact that it was a scene where she confronted Tommy, basically, because Tommy being Bobby Brown's brother, because of the fact that, oh, well, you're not doing your job to watch after him and shit like that. And he was like, I'm doing the best I can because he's on drugs. He basically, oh, he's on drugs and shit like that. I've been the one that's looking after him. I've been the one doing this and shit like that. I've been doing most of this shit, basically. And it's just like, I think back into the New Edition story, how she was basically the one who tried to call on the vote when she tried to get Ronnie's manager fired or some bullshit. But this is just how I see it. Your son's on drugs and shit like that. What are you doing as a mom and shit like that? I'm just saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel bad she died and all things. That God rest her soul and shit. But coming from the movie point of view, it just threw me off guard and shit. And let's talk. I can't talk about this miniseries without mentioning Whitney Houston and shit. First of all, let me just say the acting on this movie was very dope. I like the guy that played Bobby. What's his name? His name was like Woody McClain, and the girl that played Whitney Houston. Let me see what's the name. But while I'm doing that, they were very good. Some of the things I felt like I was watching Bobby and Whitney and shit like that. Cause don't get me wrong, the girl that played Whitney, she does not 100% look like Whitney, in my opinion. I think it has something to do with the eyes though, but her mannerisms, Gabrielle Dennis, yes. Like, her mannerisms was very Whitney-esque and shit like that. And so you can really see, like, oh, shit. She played, Janae from The Game and shit like that. Oh, shit. Now, I always feel like I knew I saw her before, but yeah, like, the meeting with, when they met at the Soul Train Awards, because you guys should know, like, they were booing her. And this is one thing, you guys should know when it comes to Whitney Houston. When she first started out, the black community, they didn't really appreciate her right away. And because of that, like, they felt like she was a bit too pop at times. They felt like she was a bit too pop. Like, they liked the way she sang, but it didn't really become like the I'm Your Baby Tonight album that they would start liking, and the Bodyguard album, the Bodyguard movie. But I'm gonna save most of that when I review that I'm Your Baby Tonight album. I'm gonna save that. But yeah, man. And you had like him comporting her in the Soul Train Awards, and you can see the jealousy in Robin's, her so-called friend, her best friend. I'm gonna say her best friend. The jealousy in her, and it's kind of crazy because like it didn't really hit me how much the public hated Bobby for marrying Whitney and shit like that. Because you gotta understand, the way people look at Bobby and Whitney was like, they looked at Whitney like this princess or some shit. And they looked at Bobby like this crazy, like, thug or some bullshit. So, I was looking at the charts too, and I was surprised that after 93, he didn't appear on the charts. I was like, damn. Because the Forever album did not even chart one bit and shit like that. Because that was like 1 year after the whole New Edition Home Again tour debacle. So, just the whole marriage, you saw like the downfall of Bobby and shit, man. Like, with the drugs and the alcohol and him being caught up, you know, with his sister's fiance's death and some shit like that. The second part was not as good as the first part, I'll admit that, but it was more emotional and shit. Like, you saw him trying to stay clean, you know, he had a stroke, and Whitney was on drugs and some shit, basically. And the one thing I liked about the second part, it didn't really concentrate on painting Bobby and Whitney as bad guys all respectively, or painting Whitney as a bad guy, but it painted both of them as the negative part, not just in their relationship, but when raising Bobby Christina, who was played by the little girl, what's his name? Ghost's daughter on Power and shit like that. I need to see that season finale. I need to catch up though. But anyway, yeah. And the scene where the whole beating Bobby Brown, when they recreated the whole gift shop scene, I felt like that was dope too. And so you saw that was like the final nail with Whitney. She left Bobby and shit like that. And Bobby Christina was wilding out, basically. And he was getting closer with his friend Alicia, who turned out to be, his wife of today. Where I kind of have some mixed feelings about that at first, but it does kind of play a part in Bobby's recovery, but it was very interesting. I was kind of like, Alicia, who's this Alicia chick that keeps popping up on my damn screen? So I was on Twitter and they said, oh, that's his wife. I was like, oh shit. Oh, wow. Cause like, I don't give a damn about this Alicia chick at first. And it was like, okay. So yeah. But all in all, that's all I want to talk about with the movie. And this is one thing I always said. Biopics, especially when it comes to music biopics, it should be made into miniseries from now on. Like, because you can't really squeeze everything into a theatrical release and shit like that. Prime example, Tupac's All Eyes on Me. And we all started the debacle with that. But other than that, I'll give that movie a solid 8 out of 10. Very dope miniseries. I know the Queen biopic is coming on my birthday, November 2nd, so I'll give that a chance. I'm gonna give that a chance and shit like that. I'm still waiting on the DeBarge one, CD one supposed to come out with though, but yeah. Now I want to talk about Mac Miller. He died Friday. He died Friday from apparent drug overdose. For those who don't know who Mac Miller is, he's an MC from, where is he from? Give me a minute, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and shit like that. I'm not the biggest Mac Miller fan, don't get me, I'm not really the biggest Mac Miller fan. He did have a couple dope joints, but I liked his personality. Like, he was every time I see him on interviews, he appeared as like a very chill dude and shit like that. Excuse me. Yeah, and it's crazy too because, like, you know, he was Jewish and shit like that. He started rapping when he was 14, and he was known as Easy Mac, and he dropped his first mixtape back in But My Mackin' Ain't Easy in 2007, excuse me. And it wasn't until like 2010 where he signed to Rostrum Records, and he got in he hooked up with you know, he started associating himself with like Wiz Khalifa and shit like that. And that's when he dropped you know, the Kids mixtape. You know, he dropped dope mixtape like Best Day Ever, Blues, and then he came out with the Blue Side Park, which was his debut album and shit like that. Yeah, he came out with Blue Side Park. Then next thing you know, he came out Watching Movies with the Sound Off, Goddam, which is the one album I did hear from Mac Miller. The only album I heard from him. That was a very dope album, by the way. And one thing I always liked about Mac Miller was his ear for beats, though. Like, he always had like those chill beats that you would hear on Adult Swim, kinda. And that's why he always put me in a chill mood and shit. And the reason why I'm bringing his death up is because, like, you guys should know that he was dating Ariana Grande. Yes, that Ariana Grande. And so I think they broke up because, from what I've read, she broke up with him over the drugs and stuff like that. I don't know, but now it's like when he died, people actually have the audacity to blame Ariana Grande for his death. And I'm just like, are you serious right now? Like, they were saying, oh, well, they just hope that, I was reading saying that, oh, they hope she dies. She was the reason why he died. It's like, no, like, and it's crazy too because, like, people make their own actions at the end of the day and shit like that. I'm not condemning Mac Miller, but we make our own actions at the end of the day, and yeah, it's just like, it is what it is, basically. Like, I'm sorry he died, but I feel like they should not blame Ariana Grande. I feel like these fans are going way too far now, basically. But it is what it is. And also what's pissing me off, though, was the news headlines. Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend, Mac Miller, dies. Like, first of all, Mac Miller has been in the business way before Ariana Grande, because people didn't really start knowing her until, I believe, the Victoria's show, whatever the show she was on. Yeah, it's just like Ariana Grande's ex dies, basically. It just threw me off guard. I didn't really like that. I didn't really fuck with that, but rest in peace to Mac Miller. I'm sorry if this was like a little botched up tribute, but yeah, I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. Speaking of other legends who died, Aretha Franklin. Now, I did say I was going to do like a tribute for her too. I thought about doing a tribute for Aretha Franklin, but I thought also I rarely saw Aretha Franklin reviews on his channel, so I'm going to review an album that I felt like does not get the talk it deserves and shit like that. And it's probably one of my favorite albums from her, and it's her, I believe, 1974 album, Let Me In Your Life. I'm just gonna do a review on this album. I'll probably squeeze this in. Okay. I'll most likely squeeze it in when I do my next reviews for R&B, which I'm going to talk about my channel in a minute. So yeah, I just thought I'd just do a review on this album, which is a very dope album in its own right, but stay tuned on that. Alright, now that we got, I want to talk about one more thing, I'm sorry. This whole Nicki Minaj and this Cardi-B so-called beef. Oh, lordy. Okay. So now apparently these females are beefing now. Yes, these females are beefing now and shit like that. Well, whatever you want to call it. So basically, you guys should know that this past Friday or Thursday, Cardi-B and it's been said it was Nicki Minaj that was fighting, and they did say after they said it was Chicken and Raw Ali, but they were fighting outside of a fashion party and shit like that, and it was just crazy. Like from what I've read, it has something to do with like, cause these females have been beefing for a while now, and it has something to do with this whole. From what I've read, was Cardi-B, I think, congratulating or welcoming Kodak Black because he got released from prison. So I think Nicki said some shit like, and I think it happened like because Cardi-B was like on Instagram talking about Nicki Minaj criticized her parenting skills and shit like that. And so I saw the video with them fighting and shit like that. Cardi-B's like yelling her ass off, and Nicki was just saying, I'm right here. And yeah. And here's my thing with this whole bullshit. All this time it's just like they all say. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of either or. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really the biggest fan of either or. But if anyone criticizes like my parents or mentions my kids, I admit I'm not just start fighting myself and shit like that. Cause I've heard different versions of this fight or why it happened and shit like that too. So I'm just like, what the hell? Like some people say it had something to do with Cardi B. Some people say Cardi started it first and shit like that. But yeah, it's just crazy as hell. Like these female rappers and shit, man. And Nicki's just talking out her neck basically now. Like she's talking about this whole sales thing, but. And what also is funny is the same day I heard about that fight, I also heard Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans supposedly fought though, but that's another story for a different day. Alright, now let me talk about this channel. Okay, so as for this channel, I'm gonna mention some albums I'm gonna be reviewing, give you a little sneak peek on a couple of albums and shit. As for the hip hop, I'm going to show you some hip-hop albums I got in store for my review. I'm going to review Slick Rick's The Great Adventure Slick Rick. Supposedly I might review that later on this month or early next month. Not too sure about that yet. Still finishing that. I'm going to finish this up possibly tonight. And my homeboy Steven, aka Mobility 1, I'm going to review the Intelligent Hoodlum album most likely on Friday. So stay tuned on that. Yeah. And so also with the hip hop side, since I already finished talking about LL Cool J, with this discography, I thought about reviewing Phenomenon. I really did think about reviewing the Phenomenon joint. But the reason why I'm holding off on Phenomenon at the moment is because that album is so bad. I'm not in a rush to review that album. So I'm going to probably most likely review that album in case in the Blue Day I have nothing to do and I need a good laugh, basically. So I'm going to talk about Run DMC's first 5 or 6 albums. The jury is still up in the air whether I want to review Down with the King right now or wait a while before I get the physical, but I'm going to review all the albums and shit like that. Because I've been so interested in reviewing a lot of Golden Age hip-hop lately, so I like this whole viewing the album by album, like, consistently and shit, throwing in a few compilations, you know. I'm beginning to like that on my channel and shit like that, and it's kind of crazy. I like, watching the album, like, the progress and shit like that. Now, as for the Wu Solo second wave, I have one Wu second solo album on the way, but one other one came last week, and it's the You God album and shit. So this, believe it or not, before I review Supreme Clientele, I'm gonna review this album before Supreme Clientele. So it's gonna be a while before I touch on this. Maybe November I'll touch on that, because I'm trying to finish up the Wu solo albums for the second wave. I'm trying to finish up before the end of this year and shit like that. And yes, oh my god, it's almost about to be Christmas, man. Lord have mercy. So, because I'm mentioning this now, that I'm gonna, with the Wu solo album, that's when I'm gonna jump into the R&B. And when it comes to R&B, I'm gonna start reviewing a lot of Prince albums post Gold Experience. So yeah, I'm gonna start consistently reviewing those and shit like that. Now, some of these albums are gonna be hella expensive, and I might not get the physical, so bear with me on that. I just thought, you know, since it's music on Spotify, I was saying to myself, you know, I'm still gonna I'm gonna buy the album, so I'm just gonna enjoy it on Spotify and all that crap for now and shit like that. But once I buy the album, I buy the album. Cause I thought it didn't really make no sense just not listening to the music, because music is gonna get heard. Music's gonna find a way to be heard once in a while. So once music is heard, it's heard. So what else can we stop it? Now for the R&B reviews, yes, we're still talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm loving this whole Earth, Wind, and Fire review and shit like that. Loving this whole Earth, Wind, and Fire review and shit like that, basically. And I'm loving the fact that, like, I'm going to throw in the Denise Williams, This Is Niecy album. And I'm also going to throw in the Flowers joint for the Emotions, though. But so far, for the R&B album I got coming up so far, This Is Niecy. I have of course, Gratitude is coming up, but I like to leave most of my album I'm gonna review next to my record player and shit. So, Spirit by Earth, Wind, and Fire. All in All, of course, and of course this album. Now, as for Songs in the Key of Life, I'm still going to review that album, Songs in the Key of Life. But I'm going to focus most of my attention on that review once I finish the Emotions Flowers joint. I plan on finishing up this Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I still have to get the I Am album. I might have to re-buy that album, because I got Faces and I got Raised, which I believe I might review those albums maybe mid-November. Maybe October or some shit. I'm not too sure on that. just depending on my time and shit. But yeah, man, I'm still gonna talk about those. I'm still gonna do songs in the key of life, and I'm thinking about talking about throwing in some Sade around the winter time too. So stay tuned on that though. But and finally, finally, I'm gonna talk about rock. Okay, so the Guns N' Roses is still going strong, basically. Use Your Illusion. I'm still gonna talk about these two. So it's gonna be a live review with my homeboy Mike Sears, and I believe Tribero is gonna be on it. I'm not too sure about that yet. I have to double check with Mike and shit, but yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely do GNR Lives. I'm not gonna do GNR Lives. I'm gonna do GNR Lives later on. Definitely later on this month and shit, because I definitely have some more dope rock albums I want to do and shit too, and I want to definitely get into some metal as well too, and I want to like really get into like reviewing like a lot of these albums. I know I'm behind and shit, but it is what it is. And I know somebody asked me to do a jazz. Would I ever start doing jazz reviews? To be honest, the thought of reviewing jazz albums kind of rang my mind like for a while now, and that would be an interesting concept. But just how to plan it out is really interesting, because part of me wants to do like Friday night jazz, like Friday night liquor and jazz, where I might just do a live review and jam to like a jazz album, talk about what I feel about that. Part of me thought about doing it live. Part of me thought about, inviting people up and talking about, because, yeah, man, that would definitely be dope too. But I'm not really thinking about doing the jazz reviews right now. I'll probably wait until next year and shit, and think about it more and shit. Also, it is about to be 5 years since I've had this channel, so yes, basically it's about to be 5 years since I've had this channel. So I'm thinking about doing a Q&A, another Q&A, basically. I'm not thinking about doing this live. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about this more next week. Let me just see where my head is at and shit, because at work, excuse me, I'm back working now, back in school, and then, I'm still working on music and shit, so, yeah, even if I don't do it necessarily on the date of my 5th anniversary, just around that time frame, I want to do it, so, a 5-year Q&A and shit like that, so if you guys want to post questions on the comment section below, do it. I'm definitely going to announce this for all my forthcoming videos and shit. I know a lot of people want to ask me some shit. And one more thing, too, I want to say. Now, listen, you guys. I do love it when people request to do albums, because I want to review albums that have not been touched upon and shit like that. But I'm beginning to feel like you guys should really, if you guys want to review an album, that's cool. Leave a request, but mention that you like my review on the video first before you be like, oh, review this album, review that album, review this album, and shit like that. Because I'm going to feel some type of way and shit like that reviewing a certain album that people are rushing me for. And if I get a comment, if people leave me a comment basically saying some shit like, review this album without saying how much they like the album I'm reviewing present, I'm not going to review the album. I'm just going to put it point blank. I'm not going to review the album and shit. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to review the album because, and I'm not saying this is to be mean. I'm not saying this is to be mean. But I'm just putting my foot down, because I've seen plenty of my fellow hip-hop reviewers comment about that. I've seen many of have issues. But I'm just want to let you guys know I'm the wrong one to mess with and shit. So, yeah, so if you guys leave me a comment on an album that you want me to review, but you don't comment on the album that I'm reviewing, or say a good job. Like, that's all I need sometimes. A good job. Like, good job sometimes. Like, if I don't get that, I won't review the album. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this long channel update. And in case you guys have nothing to do later on today, Speak Your Clout is doing a Tupac discography breakdown. The word is still out whether I will be joining that breakdown, because I'm seeing if I have to work later on. I'm gonna see if it's how the weather is tomorrow morning and shit like that due to this hurricane. If not, I'm definitely gonna jump on this breakdown and shit like that. Shout out to my homeboy Mike, Tribero, Steven, Ross, Ricardo, all you guys doing work and shit like that. And as usual, this is your boy Reg here. You guys stay tuned and shit like that. I potentially might do a review tomorrow before, the Intelligent Hoodlum breakdown, cause I know it's been about 2 weeks since I've done a review. And I like to at least do at least 1 or 2 reviews a week. Sometimes, if not a review a week, then a video or 2 a week and shit. If it's not a review, but as usual, and this is the public broadcast announcement, however you want to put it. Peace.